types gave way and crushed one of the kids. The boy named Ralph. They tell me he died instantly. I'm sorry, boss. It's my fault. I should have been keeping an eye on them. I'll let you know if we learn something.
Boss, thank you for putting an end to the epidemic. Good to see you, boss.
You need combat support, boss?
Say the word.
Boss, the rebel guerrillas are launching an offensive against the Soviets. Our job is to eliminate as much as we can of the Soviet mechanized unit that will come in as reinforcements. The more vehicles you can take out, the higher our pay will be. But the mission's a failure if you can't manage to eliminate a single one. The agent that the CIA had working for them inside OKB-0 has gone missing. We've been given the job of finding
Roger.
and extracting him. The target learned of XOF's plans to use vocal cord parasites and had hidden himself with the CIA's Mujahideen allies. But following Skullface's death, the Soviets retook OKB-0 and all contact with the target was lost. He may have tried to go back to OKB-0, but even Langley isn't sure what's going on. After all, they've never even learned of Skullface's plan. That's probably what they want to get out of the man once he's extracted. But we can't allow Langley to learn of the existence of the vocal cord parasites. That's why I want you to bring the target out, boss. Once we have him, we can report him dead and keep him on base. All contact with Langley is being conducted through a cutout. Our reputation should remain intact. As for the reward, it's already in the hands of the cutout. All you have to do is get the job done. Just like always.
So that I could fill out those papers for you. And she said, oh, what papers? I don't think there's anything left. I think she forgot. That's alright. I'm just thinking in my mind, I got her. I'll sign with what you put in. I like her. She's very nice. She's Asian. She got a nice complexion. She's nice and tan. She's got a nice, she's pretty.
She's a nice teacher.
Yeah. Miss Miriam.
Boss, you can now give the order to develop or dispose of nuclear weapons from your iDroid. With a nuclear deterrent, even if you're discovered while infiltrating a rival PF's FOB, most PFs won't dare retaliate. But you, of all people, know how dangerous it can be to have nuclear weapons. So will you add nukes to our arsenal as a deterrent? Or will you take them away from other PFs and dispose of them to help build a world that's free of nuclear weapons? I'll leave that decision up to you. Find and extract the missing CIA agent. The target was laying low with the friendly Mujahideen during the vocal cord parasites incident. The man headed back to OKB-0 after the Soviets recaptured it. Check the target's VI on your iDroid.
Why activate Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan? This is how Skullface wanted things to play out. The Soviet Union secretly develops a new type of nuclear weapon and successfully deploys it in Afghanistan. Revealing the existence of Sahelanthropus results in a return to the glory days of the Cold War. The threat it poses reignites the nuclear arms race between the world's major powers. The demand for nuclear weapons increases around the globe. What if you then introduced a nuclear weapon anyone could get their hands on? Non-nuclear nations, militant groups of all shapes and sizes, they'd all jump at the chance. Sahelanthropus was a marketing tool to sell nukes all around the world. But I think it's safe to say that plan was stamped out before it got up and running. The world's intelligence agencies never did turn up anything conclusive on it. After all, Sahelanthropus vanished before word could spread. Everything that's happened is already a fading memory, never to join the pages of history. Except for Cypher.
You say there were 3 English vocal parasites?
According to Skullface?
Yeah. Skullface had 2 of the English strain with him. You burned both of them.
There was an oil fire. I tossed him in.
So that just leaves 1. And you tell me Skullface said he used it.
He said it was very close to me.
Very close. One of your comrades. Or someone ordered to kill you. Or he could have been speaking metaphorically.
Metaphorically?
Close to your spirit. Close to your heart. Someone who either loves you or despises you.
The second one. Makes a long list.
Whichever it is, act with caution. Skullface implanted someone with the English language strain. Who it is irrelevant.
Why?
I tell you what Skullface really meant. Very close to you means you will be exposed. All the infected here have been given the Wolbachia. Even if the vocal cord parasites infect them now, they cannot reproduce. But if there's a different host among us, host to the English strain.
If that were the case, we'd see the symptoms.
What about the non-English speakers?
We have plenty of those, but the staff use English as a common language.
But if that someone has not spoken English yet, and begins to speak it now,
There'd be another outbreak.
the final mating pair of the English strain must be found immediately. Skullface is gone, but his threat still...
Skullface said there were only 3 samples of the English language strain parasite, and I think we can believe him. Bringing his ethnic liberator's plan to fruition depended on creating an English version of the vocal cord parasites at all costs. But an English strain would have been useless to Cypher. Worse, it could have destroyed everything they'd built. It was the one type they couldn't allow. That means Skullface was forced to develop his English strain out of sight of Cypher's network. Naturally, he couldn't use the greenhouse facility Cypher had set up and filled with guinea pigs. Skullface must have found some secret place to create his precious few English parasites, hiding all evidence like a man cheating on his wife. Somewhere, an entirely standalone environment. And when his plan entered its final phase, he must have made the place disappear. Some little room, could be anywhere, but now nowhere at all. We'll never know where he did it, but to elude Cypher's surveillance, it couldn't have been big. I believe Skullface was telling the truth. There were only ever 3 samples of the English language strain. Why activate Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan? This is how Skullface wanted things to play out. The Soviet Union secretly develops a new type of nuclear weapon and successfully deploys it in Afghanistan. Code Talker, haven't seen you eat a single thing since you got here. Let me guess. Photosynthesis?
Oh? What makes you say that?
Well, a long time ago, I knew someone with a similar ability.
Well, you are correct. Most of my body is covered with parasites. I supply them with water, and in return, I receive sugars they produce when exposed to light. It isn't just my skin either. The parasites also act as my eyes. They have replaced many of my internal organs as well. It is thanks to them that I live on after over a century.
How did you obtain them anyway? Through your research?
I would like to say as much, but there is more to it than that. Let me take you back 20 years. I had hit a dead end with my parasite research. Then I was approached by a foundation. They said they had a sample of an unusual strain of parasite.
Which foundation?
Apparently, they had links to ARPA. But that is all I learned. I was somewhat ignorant of the ways of the world. Just being able to study it was enough for me.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Go on.
Half in doubt, I visited them to discover the body of an old man. Well, to be precise, his partial remains. A collection of parts, you could say. The man had died in an explosion.
An old man, you say?
His flesh had not decomposed. In fact, the tissue's cells were still metabolizing. The parasite had infected, or should I say assimilated with, the tissues, and was keeping them alive. I became obsessed with studying the body parts, foregoing food and even sleep. Every day was filled with new discoveries.
Good work.
Biology, internal anatomy, life cycle. But there was only so much I could learn through observation. And so I made a decision to parasites. I had to live with them.
So, you implanted them inside you from the dead man's flesh?
Correct. It was quite a gamble, whether or not they would adapt to me. But fortunately, it appears I was compatible with them. Or perhaps, through my many years of research, my immune system learned to tolerate them.
Were they that body's only parasite?
Yes. However, there was a separate specimen that supplied its host with adrenaline in response to pain.
Thanks. You saved me.
Good work. We can't let them follow you. Throw off the enemies on your tail first. Mission complete, boss. Maybe you'll actually break a sweat next time. Boss, the target filled us in on what's been going on. He betrayed the Soviets, passing information to Langley, but got scared after learning XOF used the vocal cord parasites. Then came feelings of guilt that his leaks sent comrades to their deaths, and fear that America might deploy such a weapon itself. But in reality, XOF and Langley don't have a collaborative relationship, and Skullface was not working for America. Still, I can't blame the man for being afraid. After laying low with the Mujahideen, he tried to cut his ties with the US and return to the Soviet military. But along the way, someone came after him, and he was forced back into hiding. Could have been remnants of XOF looking to silence him. And you know the rest. He doesn't seem to know much about the parasites, but nevertheless, it'd be too dangerous to hand him over to Langley or the Soviets. We'll keep him here as originally planned. Emmerich's finished development on that battle gear of his. Get back to Mother Base. Battle gear is an armored weapon developed to take on hostile bipedal weapon systems. But unlike the Soviet-funded Walker gear, the battle gear still hasn't been properly field tested. I'd like to assign a combat unit to take it on dispatch missions, so that we can evaluate its capabilities and reliability. Assuming you've got no objections, give the order to dispatch the unit from your iDroid. Boss, we need evidence to prove our suspicions about Emmerich. Head to the central base camp in Afghanistan and recover that AI pod. It's time we purge Diamond Dogs of that traitorous parasite once and for all. Roger.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is P-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Boss, welcome home.
Boss, thank you for putting an end to the epidemic.
Gaining altitude.
Boss, we need evidence to prove our suspicions about Emmerich. Head to the central base camp in Afghanistan and recover that AI pod. It's time we purge Diamond Dogs of that traitorous parasite once and for all. Soviets' reinforcement system by putting a hole in their base-to-base comms network. Head for the Eastern Communications Post and destroy its comms equipment. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Where are your friends?
You gotta extract him.
Where are the others? Speak. Spit it out.
Where are your friends?
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility. incoming too. Roger that. That's a serious injury. It won't heal on its own. You'll need to treat it.
Snake, are you okay? Snake!
Enter the Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid. You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility. That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking. That's another one of the targets. Do you see any more? That looks like the target. We know where all the antennas are now. Take out all three of them. How you do it is your call. Explosives should take care of them well enough. How you do it is up to you.
Знаешь, что я только что услышал? Даже не должны быть в этом вонючем месте.
Как это?
Изначально с этими бояками должны были разобраться силы ДРА.
В определенный момент мой дух падает ниже плинтуса, и они дезертируют.
Совершенно бесполезно.
Значит, мы делаем работу за них?
Заправляй на дыру, подтирать им задницы.
Не говори так. Ситуация здесь большая честь. Кроме того, в следующем месяце нас здесь уже не будет. Да?
Ага. Чтобы спасти хотя бы эта полигоновая смена войск. Ладно, мне пора.
Давай.
Давай проверь. За мной. Понял.
Что это?
radio transmitter is used to relay messages between outposts. Take it out and the mission's complete. We have the locations of all the targets. Destroy either the radio transmitter or all the antennas to shut down communications between the enemy outposts. It's all up to you, boss.
Всем боевым группам, это КП. На нас напали. Всем подразделениям занять боевые позиции.
Explosives should take care of them well enough. How you do it is up to you. Good. That's the first one. Destroy the remaining antennas. Nice. That's the second one. That wasn't the last of them, though. Keep going. Boss, that's a serious injury. It won't heal on its own. You'll need to treat it with first aid.
Boss, what happened? Boss!
Enter the Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid.
Контакт! Выйди и сражайся, без всяких шкари танка!
You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility. That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking.
Контакт! Враг! Не стреляй, не стреляй!
Всем боевым группам, это КП. На нас напали. Всем подразделениям занять боевые позиции.
Подержись огнем!
Boss, that's a serious injury. It won't heal on its own. You'll need to treat it with first aid.
Snake!
Enter the Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid. Subject on board. Leave the rest to us. You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility.
Where are your friends? Spit it out.
Штабе говорят, что на аванпосты скоро поступит военный транспорт.
Долго же они раскачивают. Надеюсь, хотя бы прогонят этот транспорт побыстрее.
Да, неплохо бы. Но им же сначала нужно перейти через перевал Салан, так что приедут они не сразу.
Так оно так. Это не единственная проблема. Здесь же не степь. Если транспорт не на гусеницах.
Слушай, путем делу не поможет.
Да, верно. Ладно, я пошел.
That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking. That's a serious injury. It won't heal on its own. You'll need to treat it with first aid.
Boss, come in. Boss?
Enter the Eastern Communications Post and destroy the target equipment. Its location is on your iDroid. Subject on board. Leave the rest to... You made it. First, use the binoculars to locate the communications equipment at the facility. That antenna is one of the targets. There should be more. Keep looking. That's another one of the targets. That looks like the target. We know where all the antennas are now. Take out all 3 of them. How you do it is your call. That's the first one. Destroy the remaining antennas.
Oh, hello. I'm not the one with the attitude. What? Okay. Do you get a beer hat that says you were number 1? Huh. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh. I hate this mission so much.